I'm going to go live a little bit early. Go live a little bit early because I wanted to see if my stuff was working. It looks like it's working. Also, what's that part of my hair? It was right here. Does that look weird? Anywho, I'm live. I've got my window open. Penny Myers, hi. Can you see and hear me? I hope so. Got the windows open. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just got a haircut, so thank you. Also, here's a funny thing, you guys. Look at these eyebrows. I got them colored because they're coming in white. Thank you, Penny. And I look like freaking Groucho Marx. Yeah, see? That's not actually him. You know, where's my rubber chicken or whatever? But I was cracking up at the salon today because my guy Phil, I asked him to do them darker, and we both looked, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm the one who asked for this, so too funny. Good morning, or excuse me, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Gina. Good afternoon, Penny. Good afternoon, Stephanie. Yay. You know what? When you guys show up, some of mine are white. See, that's the thing with mine too, Penny, is mine were coming in white and gray. And kind of like back in the day, I'm like, what you don't want, you pluck out. And then I realized, oh my God, I will have no eyebrows left. I do have a few white ones that no matter how they get colored, I will keep them white. But you know what? I don't want to spend our time talking about aging and eyebrows. Hey, that one persona, nice to see you. Gonna use the good stuff. So good afternoon. You know what's really cool about this is that you guys showing up on time, not even on time, you guys showing up at this time reminds me that the secret page must be working. So yes, yay, that one persona, decluttering and organizing in the basement and progress made. Awesome. Yay for progress. Yay for the basement. There we go. Coffee and calm. Nice to see you. Kat Roby has already got her scheduled Beth Blinders. She was preparing for this probably more so than I was. Yay. Desk and papers before my staff meet at 12. Awesome, hon. You go. I've got papers on my desk. I was working on my papers. I was decluttering myself first, and then I'm going to move over to my mother's stuff. Laura LGV, currently in the garage. Got to get it empty for garage demo in a week or so. My goodness, do I remember the time when we were in our basement getting ready for stuff. So rock on yourself. Yay, coffee and chaos. Excuse me, calm. Cleaning out old files in the office today. Oh, there we go. That one persona says also helps when the notifications notify. Oh, yeah. It also helps when things that are supposed to be working are working, right? So, hey, we'll take it any way we can, right? For those of you who don't know me, I always like to introduce myself, both for the live crew, the Two Live crew, and people who may be watching this. This may randomly show up in your YouTubes. Friends of mine have been like, yeah, I've been scrolling through YouTube, and then I will see your lives, the recordings of your live pop up. Interesting. Penny Meyer says the podcast today explained did a declutter episode I listened to today. Interesting, Penny Myers. Carla Jane, where did I put my Carla Jane? Carla Jane's in the house, everybody. Carla Jane. There you go, y'all. What's in your, hey, Carla, actually, I feel like I need to talk to this. Carla, we were talking about crazy weather, right? We have the windows open. It will get colder in here. At this point, the house was colder than it was outside. Carla, remind me, what's in your parallelogram? What's in your triangle? What is the shape that your weather guy asks what's in your shape for your weather? Because we were doing the laundry the other day and Cliff was folding that shirt. Polygon. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I kept on saying it's not parallelogram. What's in your polygon, man? And I was thinking of you when I was driving back from Jersey, and I was like, had I known, and I remembered that shape, I would have jokingly said, what's in your polygon? So thank you. Yay. All righty. Kat Roby. There we go. Was sorting for taxes, and then guests came and cats took over. Yeah. I just uploaded some more tax stuff to our tax person, and I have my mother's tax stuff here too. So yay. If any of you, okay, there we go. Notifies. All right. Messy, Mac the knife. Kitties always get in the way. Kitties want you to have fun. They don't want you to do taxes. They just want you to pay attention to them. So seriously, you guys, anybody who is stuck with paperwork today, put it in the comments. I'll help you out. I am good at this. I used to be not good. I am getting better. Starting on chunk 1. I love that, Kat Roby. I love that also, frankly, kind of like the scheduled Beth blinders. You have already said when this equals that, when Beth shows up on YouTube or TikTok, I will do the needful, the following. So yay for that. Very cool stuff. And yes, and just out of kind of funniness. So, okay, actually, it's not that bad. Today's hot high here in Phoenixville, PA. That's where I live. It's supposed to be 81 degrees. 81 in the beginning of March. I'll take it though. I'll take it. The lowest it's supposed to be, it was supposed to be like 30 something. That's not till next Tuesday, and hopefully that will change as well. But man, those it's going to get back to be more seasonal. Enough about the weather, enough about me. How can I help you today? There we go. Got my envelope together. Just need bank statements. Okay, Carla Jane, are those something that have come in the mail that you need to collect up from what has shown up? Or is that something you can download and print from your computer? Different information comes to you in different ways. I have a paper folder for I have a paper envelope, frankly, better than a folder for the stuff that comes through the mailbox. I have a folder in my email for the stuff that comes in the email. And I even have a folder on my desktop for stuff that I have to download myself. Okay, so you have to print them. Okay. Waiting on my ink to be delivered. Yeah, notice you can't really print something if you don't have any ink. So at a certain point, certain things need to happen before something else. I love that because that means you've put some things in a row. You've prioritized them even just by, making sense of them, and you're getting going. There we go. Kat Roby has 7 piles and 2 halves of an L-shaped desk. I'm feeling like the count. 1 pile, 2 piles, I have an L-shaped desk myself because I'm left-handed. Yay, Gina is sending her stuff to the CPA as we chat. Yeah, I will share with you guys. Me showing up for this this YouTube live was also a chunk of time prior to beginning the live where I said to myself, before this milestone, before this beginning of the Destination Decluttered YouTube live on Wednesday, March 11th at 2 p.m. Eastern, before that, in the chunk of time between coming home from the eye doctor and doing this, I will reply, respond, and upload the stuff to the CPA myself. And I did it, and it feels good. And it's kind of fun. I will share this with you, and I'll see if I can get it right. The fun thing is it just feels natural, fine. It feels like a sense of accomplishment. Do not get me wrong. But it's not this kind of lows of lows and peaks of peaks. It's nicely in the middle. Like, yay, I got that done. And I can easily move over to something else. That means that level of hooray is now my new normal. When I used to say, hooray, I got it done to them. And I still hooray a bit, but that's becoming where I live. Like, okay, this is happening. I'm trying to remember. I was at the eye doctor today, and maybe this will inspire you. I don't know. I feel like it's something that I want to share. So they were checking because I got the cataract surgery months ago. This was like my 3-month checkup or something. And I shared with the eye doctor, I said, here's an interesting thing. The thing that was mind-blowing at the time, the thing that was an OMG, I cannot believe this, with me being able to see when I open my eyes in the morning. The novelty, the oh my God, the has kind of worn off. And I realized that's kind of a bummer. Like, I never want to take that for granted. But what I realized was, and how did I say it to him? Because he's like, oh, that's a good way of putting it. I said, yeah, the amazing has now become regular. Like I'm kind of used to, so much so that when I went to the hair place today, I forgot to wear my glasses at all, but it was 7:00 in the morning. So your peaks, when they become regular, that means that you're living on a good level. That if what was awesome now is just regular, that means your regular is awesome. Your everyday, your level of everyday is things are awesome. I am hoping that for you. I never want to take for granted any of the awesome things I have, but I do have that awesomeness every day when I wake up and I can see without my glasses. Heck, I don't even have glasses that make my eyes better. This is just literally for my social comfort. So I say that to you where it's like I wake up and I'm grateful for my eyesight. I'm grateful and I feel good about when I look around and there's always a little bit of clutter. There is because it's not a museum. But I feel good about what I look at and I hope you do too. And yeah, and so notice the things you can be grateful for, including, and you're there anytime you look around and you're psyched about what you see and you feel good about what you see, that's a good feeling. When you see yourself even right now doing your taxes now and not on April 11th of 2026, that's a good thing. Feel good about what you're doing. Appreciate yourself. You appreciate yourself showing up and doing those things earlier than you may have in the past. Sooner rather than later. Opposites. Pushing it off? No. Stop the pushing off. Christine, nice to see you. And saying, I'm going to deal with this now. I actually felt bad. There was a few things I couldn't get to as easily this weekend because I didn't have my computer with me. Doing things sooner rather than later is a great habit to get into. Now, not everything you can do sooner, but I will share this with you. I am so grateful that I booked some flights last week because I had a flight on hold for Easter weekend. By the time I put it on hold, literally 2 days ago, and today it went up $100. So I decided sooner rather than later, it may go down and I could maybe, get refunded the difference. I could book it again and get a credit, all that stuff. Or if it goes up, I know I'm all set. So I have flights booked through the first week of August because doing something sooner rather than later can save you peace of mind. I have sometimes pushed off doing flights thinking that they're going to get lower, but all it ends up having me do is stress out that I haven't gotten it yet. And what if it goes up? So just think of that as also another tool in your toolkit. And I know there's that funny thing about why do today what you can put off till tomorrow, haha. But I truly say it feels really good to do something today so that you don't have to do it tomorrow. So that's what I say. How about you? How about you? I know we got a cool crew here, and you guys all know what you're doing, I hope. And I hope every single one of you is doing something useful during this YouTube Live. I do. And even the recordings, I hope you've decided I am going to do some decluttering with Beth just kind of keeping me company in the background with Destination Decluttered, knowing that at any point when I need support, when I have a question, that I can just type it in the comments. Now, granted, you can't do that. Now that I said that, you can't do that during the recordings, but you can do it now during the lives. So here's the thing. Anybody got any questions? You got any questions about stuff? I have some clutter, some paperwork of my own. That is a pile. I have a to-do page. That is a pile of my mom's. I have a to-file page, Yeah. Okay, Penny Myers. I needed a nap today. I hope you took a nap today. After blood donation on Sunday each day. Yes. Take care of your human body. Yay for naps. Yay for naps. That's a t-shirt right there. Take the nap. There's nothing wrong with taking care of your body. One of the ways that your human body recovers is when we put it in sleep mode. So yay for you. I love that. Now I'm going through my paperwork right now. Okay, so I love that. See, this is a cool thing, Penny. She says one thing from a podcast that she listened to. Notice I went through some paper and it was easy for me to say, I don't need that anymore. Recycle it. The podcast, was chunk it down. They didn't use those words. It doesn't matter the words they use, but the concept is the same, right? Yeah. And I agree. And I'll share with you. I make no bones about it. Like everything that I share with you, I know came from somewhere else. I use words that make sense to me. I could never remember. Is it a thought? Is it a belief? I like to keep things simple. So when I say chunk it down, that reminds me of all the other downs I can do. So yay. And good to know that other people who are trying to help people with clutter are talking about that concept of chunking it down. Yeah. There we go. Penny Meyer says the guy studies brains and says we get a dopamine hit when we accomplish even a small thing, like a video game. So yeah, why not milk it for all it's worth? I mean, if you're going to why get one big dopamine hit? Because it won't be that big. You'll still get that sense of satisfaction, but a whole bunch of little ones. It's like taking a candy bar of dopamine and chunking it up into little bits and saying, how can I get a little taste of dopamine? How can I feel good a little bit at a time? That's great. Yeah. And you're right. That one persona, this is the what I'm going for. My goal, my destination for a lot of stuff is ease, and ease in my mind, not ease like the letter ease, but easy like Sunday morning, like peace of mind, not having to worry about stuff. And as you said, sometimes it's better to go ahead and spend the money. And I like this, and rest assured. Notice that. Rest assured that you have what you want. I can rest knowing that I'm assured of getting what I want. That flight at that time to that destination, that seat even. And then notice the difference. And this is interesting just because of that one persona, the way your comments are formatted. I see some consonants in array. Assured versus stressed, the opposite. They have very similar letters in them. Which one would you choose? If somebody said you have a choice of feeling stressed out or you resting assured, which one would you choose? I would like to think you're going to choose the rest assured. Okay, in order to get that feeling, you will need to spend money on a flight earlier. You're going to spend the money regardless, and you may spend more later. Spending the money earlier rather than later can give you that rest assured. Yeah, and nagging. Notice stressed and nagging in your brain. Do you want stressed and nagging? Push something off. If you want to rest assured and just be like, I got nothing to do, and you truly don't have anything nagging at you, that is such a lovely feeling to not have something nag at you. Like my phone that's bumping up here, I will happily ignore that. Yay. Yay for curating as I redecorate our home. Instead of being like, it's cheap, it's close enough. Now, sometimes, like if you have no chair, any chair might be better than sitting on the floor. Waiting for the perfect chair is going to give you a lot of empty space. Now, here's a funny thing. That corner of my room right there, well, the funny thing is you can barely see the chair because it's white on white. That corner, well, it was empty for a while because I knew what I was going to put into it, but I didn't have it yet. And then that empty space ended up getting filled, if you recall, this time last year when we were moving stuff up from our basement. But that chair isn't something like, if I don't have any place to sit. But yes, curating is decision-making, deciding what you want and saying, is this good enough? Could I do better? This could be good enough for now. but I'm looking for something better. Yeah. So good for curation. That one persona, you're doing good stuff. LGV says a lot of what is in the garage is Hub's jurisdiction. I know that too myself because I was in our garage today. I could feel the overwhelm happening, so I took a deep breath. I hope you gave a long exhale. I need to set a reasonable goal for now. I already cleared out a cabinet now. Okay, so this is what I would say, Laura LGV. This may be when you go out there, but you don't do a lot of decluttering on your own because it's not your stuff or it's his purview. It might benefit you to go out there like this is me. I'm imagining myself because I was literally in our garage today getting the leaf blower because I wanted to blow some leaves away because we have some crocuses coming up. And it was very difficult. I said to my husband, I says, I am so glad that randomly the charger for the leaf blower was on a shelf because that I could easily find because there's so much crap in that side of the garage. Now, I don't want to deal with it because most of it's his, but what I could do is I'd go out there and I could make a list of the things that are where I don't want them to be. So that could be a thing, Laura. Even if it's his stuff, you could say, I would prefer that stuff was over there, or let's deal with this stuff or that stuff. Could you put that down the basement? Right? Yay, Penny Myers for crocuses coming up. Yes. Yeah, and McDoug's, I will say this, book a flight that suits you best. Don't worry about the price. What is easy and secure gives you most of your time. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I get that, but I will say this. I have gotten better at that. And I have booked myself better seats in the plane, but I'm not flying first class all the time yet. I mean, that would suit me best, right? But I don't want to spend the money. But I get you, yes. But it feels nice to have that taken care of. I feel secure versus insecure. I feel secure that I have a flight on the day that I want, on the way there and the way from. So awesome. Yeah, that's true, actually, like that one persona. And LOXQ, I really want to address that in a minute. I'd love to talk about that. We've been here almost 11 years. Too many years of getting it'll do stuff has partly led to the need to declutter. Right. The kind of the stuff that's the yellow, it's not really great. It's not what you want, but it'll do. But you keep on acquiring it. And maybe it does itself for a while, but then it doesn't. Now, LO says, I find it hard to assign decluttering to a specific day because I need to feel like doing it. And that might be a different day each week. And they are asking, how do you all handle that? That's how I handle it. I resist unnecessary what's the word I'm thinking of? I want to say restriction, rigidity. Okay. I see clutter, and when it looks cluttery to me, I will do something about it. I don't say, well, it's Tuesday. I mean, sometimes if you want to say, I don't want to deal with it until Tuesday, and you know it, and then you do that. But if that doesn't work for you, do it when you feel like doing it, but also be wary of the fact that you might need to, if you say that and then you end up kind of not feeling like it, sometimes you need to generate the feeling to do it. And for some people, that means I declutter every Wednesday. Notice that you may not feel like it when you start it, but once you get started, the Wednesday part of it might get you started. Yeah, you could. I mean, notice this LO, how random yet organized my TikTok live and YouTube live calendars and schedules are. Different days of the week have different times of the day every week. It keeps it lively for me, and finding a way that works for you, experimenting with what works better than something else. I have found that for me, when I see it, I pretty much kind of deal with it because I have the schedule to. If I didn't, I could also say to myself, I legit don't have the time or the energy now, but I will carve out a chunk of time on a certain day. Now, does it have to be every Wednesday? No, but I would make sure I had that kind of bucket, that container of time always available, much like having a bag or a box to always be putting donations in. That every week I have one day where I have not even chunked up. Please don't use a whole day of decluttering. Please don't, unless you have to. Always chunk your decluttering in half and give half of it to the fun fund, okay? Don't always just be decluttering. Decluttering can be fun, though. But find what works for you. Experiment and see which works better than the others. Sometimes I may not have the energy or the time, but I also trust myself that when I say I'm going to do it later, I do it later. Yeah. Yeah. And see, if you worry, notice worry is a fear. I will worry that it will get away from me, though. That's when you could say, okay, this week, I look at my calendar. Here, I'll look at my calendar. Here's my weekly calendar. And this is what I do to schedule my TikTok lives and YouTube lives. Okay, let's say I have one day a week that I decide that I'm going to spend 2 hours of decluttering. Well, I'm doing it on Wednesday of this week. Let me see what next Wednesday look like. Oh, Wednesday looks kind of busy. Maybe I'll do it on Tuesday of next week. Yeah. And finding something that works for you, and also being flexible when sometimes what you do for a while doesn't work anymore. Figure out how to change it so you can continue to do it. Yeah, taking the pressure off can be good, but sometimes not having any pressure on you causes it to get away from you. So don't let it run wild. Put a fence up. Say, I will get this all decluttered by, March 18th at 7 p.m. Yeah. And that one persona is also chiming in saying, it's best if I declutter in my days off. I try to ask myself, what will I feel best about getting done and working on at the end of the day today? And if you have the attention deficit that she does, she also has a finish the project day. And that is kind of a scheduled thing, like looking around for projects that are unfinished. I tend to finish projects as I go. So that's me finding what works for you, but also noticing that everybody has their own way of doing it. And as long as it's getting the result you want, it's not hurting you or other people, and it feels sustainable, at least in the somewhat short term, I would say experiment with it. I also do say, and I was told this, that was very interesting. This weekend, I was hanging around with friends and family, and it became readily apparent that something I do naturally, because I've practiced it for over 20 plus years, which is I tend to look down the road further than a lot of people. And what I offer to you is this is something I learned, not from somebody else's podcast. Actually, it was do I see this system? Is this something I feel that could work long-term? Kind of like a crash diet versus slowly changing your eating habits. Could I always be eating fresh pineapple and a dry can of tuna fish and half a Diet Coke for the rest of my life? No, that's a short-term strategy. How can I do this so I feel like I might want to continue doing this even in 10 years? The way I'm doing this would feel doable. So experiment with that for yourself. Just even saying, does this feel doable in the future, might give you some valuable feedback if you hear no because X. It's like, I do feel really bad and I hope it works. But when I see friends of mine and myself working so hard to get buff and to lose weight, and it takes so much time and effort that it's getting a result, but it takes so much to get that result. My fear is that result is not long lasting, and unless you want to be continually going to the gym 5 days a week, for 2 hours a day, So there we go. Paying attention to your circadian rhythms. Yeah. And your circadian rhythms, maybe plus an alarm clock, plus an alarm on your phone. Okay. But paying attention to yourself, really. Paying attention. What works for you? That works for you. Maybe I'll try it. What works for me? I don't know. what works for me, but I do know I can ask people and they're going to give me some ideas. And I do know I can try their ideas and see how they fit. It's like saying, do you have a jacket I could borrow? Trying it on, saying, oh, I like this. Now I know what better kind of jacket to buy myself. Or, oh, thank you. Yeah, no, this doesn't fit me, but I learned something. So thank you very much. So paying attention to yourself, what works for you to get you the result you want, your destination decluttered. Yay. Good stuff. And so that's what we got going on here. I am going to put my do not disturb on. I promise I will get back to those people. So speaking of chunks of time, things like that, this is what we do when we do the declutter parties, 2 of which are coming up this weekend. One at 8 a.m. Eastern, the other one at noontime Eastern. And they are the only ones scheduled for March, because March, I told everybody in January that March into April and May and June is my busy travel month. I will also be forecasting out here. Let me see if I can take this off here. I will be doing some TikTok, some declutter parties. My God, that's April already. Let me see. Nope, not that day. There may be some in April. There may not be. I have to look at that. Yes, and Carla Jane, 100%. And I say this too, honestly. Carla Jane is saying, and don't feel bad if what works for your bestie does not work for you. What I say, though, is if what I am suggesting doesn't work for you, please let me know. Please let me know so I can augment it, so we can transform it into something that does work for you. At what point of the process does what I'm offering fail for you? That, to me, is a really interesting place. I want to look at it because I want to be always offering like the latest version of this process. Now, yay, Kat Roby, this is what I was about to say, and 2 minutes have passed. So it was 1:30. Well, excuse me. Oh, you know what? I didn't change my clock. Because I haven't been home. Oh my God, it's already 2:30. Well, technically it's 2:31. So we're about halfway through our time together. Kat Roby already checked in. 2 piles gone. More important, 10 sticky notes integrated. So yay, you're feeling good about that. So that's just a nice kind of verbal, it doesn't mean you have to be done with anything, but just saying, okay, if I want to declutter when this Destination Decluttered YouTube is going on, there are about 28 minutes left. That also does not mean you have to have a hard stop and gather up your books and go to another classroom type of thing. You can continue to declutter even after this TikTok live is over, YouTube live, excuse me, if you want. I will also try to give a heads up at around quarter of, when about halfway to the halfway type of thing. So this is what we do in the declutter parties, is we create a chunk of time where we say, we're going to work on the following. And everybody's working on something different. And then we declare what we're going to work on, because articulating it to ourselves is one thing. Articulating it into words that can be shareable with others makes you get more specific. So that can be beneficial. And then I keep track of the time so that you can go and do stuff and not get too far down the rabbit hole. You only get a few layers down, and then I say, okay, we're halfway through. Yeah. See, Kat Roby says, oh, hey, we're only halfway through. Thank you for saying that. You're welcome. I'm pleased with my focus and determination so far. Lovely. I highly recommend in your good book saying to yourself, I was pleased with my focus and determination today. Does anybody else today want to be pleased with your focus and your determination, just like Kat Roby? Find something that you can declutter or work on for the next 7 minutes or so. Why did I say 7 minutes? How about this? 7 plus, nope, now it changed. I don't know, for the next less than 10 minutes. Look around you, just where you are right now. And you could make a difference in 10 minutes. You could make a better difference. You could make a positive difference, as I like to say, not a worse difference. You could organize some of that paperwork. You could throw one thing in the trash. You could throw some things in the recycle bin. You could write a list. You could put some laundry in. You could wash off that counter. There are plenty of things you could do right now. And I'm just trying to encourage you. You can also be flopped on the couch and just listening and let all this just kind of float over you. Totally fine. But don't forget that when you use your time for something like that, you're going to feel good doing it, and you're going to feel good having done it. And who doesn't want to feel good? I mean, we're going to end this TikTok. I keep on saying TikTok, but I mean YouTube. Doesn't matter. This YouTube Live, I want to feel good when it's done. I want to feel like what I did was helpful to you and helpful to me. Now, will I declutter during this TikTok? No, I can't, because my brain, I am using my brain. I am making my brain available to you. So use it. Use it. You have my brain. I'm not concentrating on my stuff. I have the afternoon to do that, and I'm looking forward to having my brain to myself. But right now, I'm in sharing mode. So what do you want my brain to help you with? Think about it. Put it in the comments. Maybe it's just a matter of me being quiet so you can do some stuff. I can do that. Allegedly, I can be quiet. Here, I'll be quiet now while you think about what you want to do for the next 24 minutes, maybe 2 chunks of 12, maybe 4 chunks of 6. Notice you can chunk things any way you want. I will give you a bit of quiet time. I'm going to read those texts that just came in. But I really am here for you. I promised. I see some things popping up. And yay for quiet. Those kitties, I will tell you. Yeah. There we go. Laura Voorhees found something to work on. I am in a multi-step decluttering right now. I am organizing and decluttering the small shed so that I'm saying gardening things can come out to here. That means there are 3 big little tykes furnitures to give away. Yay, you found some stuff that's taken up a lot of room. You know? Yes, and you can't do something because your cat's on your lap. Kitties will be unhappy if you move them. You can choose to stay there with the cat on your lap, or you can move the kitty. It's up to you. I love it. Cat Roby says, I can see more of my desk. And though the papers are still as many, they are getting chunked for future projects. Feeling equals motivated. There we go. Carla Jane, notice how powerful it can be to state your intentions. Yep, I'm washing kitchen windows and vacuuming them out, then putting the ice machine in place. And I'm glad you followed up with taking it easier, but still pacing myself. Yeah, pace yourself. Work at a pace that fits what's going on with you. My husband went in for a procedure yesterday. He is moving slowly, but he is moving. And he's not going to try to do something quick and get back to the speed he's normally doing. He will do that a little bit every day. He'll get better, much like all of us. But if you try to rush it and go back to what you're doing, you can hurt yourself. So, notice how you feel physically, nervous system-y, and match what you're doing to how you feel and the amount of time you have. Okay, so LO is saying, I'm noticing, and this is a great thing to notice. I'm a bit wired for reacting rather than choosing the next thing. So what I'd say is that wired feeling and reacting is just can be a habit of reacting as opposed to planning, to be reactive as opposed to proactive. So you can change how you're wired. You can train yourself slowly to do different things. And one of the things that may help, LO, to me, that helps, so I share it with you, is to not necessarily react, but the thing I was going to react about, I will write that down. And I will write down the other things so I can then plan on which thing comes first. Now, obviously, if it's a true reaction, like there's a house afire or something like that, but notice if you have trained yourself to only do things in reactionary mode, you can do it differently. Write down the thing that you were going to react about, and now you've planned to do it. Yay, Cat Roby. Found a gift certificate last week that was going to expire. I scheduled a facial to use that freebie and getting ready for it tomorrow. Awesome. Yeah, Carla Jane found some gifts she bought for Valentine's, and now she can return them. Yeah, notice the things you will find. Yes, and Carla knows what she's talking about. Please declutter what you can on your floors, especially. This helps you to be safe. Yeah, this is why I say decluttering helps your physical body. You will be less likely to trip over stuff if you have less clutter. So notice how decluttering can help you. Yep. And I know because I was trained to react to things. I was not trained in the method I'm teaching you now to write things down, to do certain things like that. I was not trained in this way. So I was trained to react, to do the thing that was on the top of the pile, to ignore, like all sorts of very unhelpful habits was how I was trained. Now, not consciously, but trained by observation, observing the people around me. I had to learn what I'm teaching you kind of on the streets, as they say. But man, does it feel better. Because reaction, when you're reacting to something, you're not using all of your brain. When you even pause to write down the thing you were going to react about, that opens up another pathway in your brain. And notice that it creates another channel that you can practice. I see evidence of this getting better. And also, frankly, I see evidence of not learning how to do this, getting you into a reactionary state at all times. And that is not good for your body, those chemicals running through your body. Now, I don't study brains, but I observe people. I observe myself. And I know that it is not healthy for you to have those kind of reactionary chemicals going through your body. You can notice something, but not necessarily react to it. And that, or in a bad way. You can react appropriately. How's that? I hope that helps. LO, does that help? I hope it helps. That's why I'm here. Okay. So LO, I love this. Thank you for sharing this. When things are calm and caught up, I almost feel like I'm waiting to be pushed into the next task. Notice because you're in the habit of waiting for a push into the next task. If you are always waiting to be pushed into the next task by reactionary or running late or getting down to the wire, you aren't practicing the habit of internally motivating yourself. So yeah, you're running on an old script. Don't wait for internal motivation because I don't know how to create that. So I'll just wait until things get into crisis mode. Now, I may be wording this poorly and I apologize about it. But what I will say is internal motivation is something that needs to be generated. This is why it can be very beneficial. And I always feel like I'm going like Vodiodo, like 23 skidoo, but I'm pointing to the destination behind me, that heart. Internal motivation, part of what can help you be internally motivated is to go back to the very beginning, which is actually the end, which is, why am I going to do this? Create some motivation in yourself. And hopefully, I am doing this thing. I am doing this next task because I want to get there. But if you are seriously, there's nothing wrong with this. Notice that you have trained yourself like Pavlov's dog to respond only to certain criteria to get stuff done. And if you keep on doing that and you don't know how to, if you don't practice the different thing, you'll never get good at it, and you'll always default to the OG. So what is your destination? What is your destination, LO? What would motivate you? What kind of destination would motivate you internally motivate you to do the next task, so you could start it without like the push? Maybe you're encouraging yourself, but you're not getting pushed by something else. Just something to think about. This is why I am forever grateful that I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. Why am I doing this? What is the reason? What is my destination? I'm going to do this next task because I want to feel calm. When my brain goes, oh my God, what about the taxes? Don't worry. They're uploaded. Oh, okay, good. Oh my God, I hope mom's no, hers are good too. Oh my gosh, no, I did that. The reaction, and then the calming down. And then you trust yourself not to get into a fear mode that something didn't get done, because you're so used to getting things done. Now, there will be times when you may forget something. I mean, humans, we will forget, but it will be the exception versus the rule. Yeah. There we go. Laura Voorhees. How fun. We had decluttered an old plant stand to the burn pile, but I reclaimed it, and now my hundreds of terracotta pot sauces have a home. Yeah. And here's another thing, and I love using people's words, because here's what I say, LO. I need to find that slow momentum to grow my motivation. It's not something you go out and look for. It's something you go in and create. Create. I need to create. Even substituting that word. I just need to. You could say, I want to create that momentum. Think about it. Like, momentum is like you do something so that you push a wheel down a hill and it gathers momentum. You don't go find momentum and bring it to it. You do something and you create it. And I know we're used to talking about things in certain words, but our words have power. I'm laughing at Cat Ruby and her foot-shaped paperclip. Having fun with it. Yay. Learn to create your own motivation. That's one of the things you can do. I am motivated to do the things on my desk because I want to see a clean desk. Now, could I do that by easily just shoving everything on the floor? Yeah. But I want to feel, I would much rather walk down a hill. Yeah. And not trip and fall. Right, Carla Jane? I want to feel secure that the things that are on my desk, and this is the thing, the things I keep on my desk are things that typically need to be dealt with. I do not store things on the top of my desk. I file them elsewhere. So I've trained my brain to think, if there's stuff on my desk, that means it's stuff that needs to be dealt with. And so I say, okay, it looks like I have to deal with some things. When I deal with those things equals I get a clear desk and a clear brain, because those things have been dealt with. And my motivation is feeling good about getting stuff done and seeing the visual results of that. the visual beauty of that nice clean desk. That's the visual that says, I don't need to do any more of those things. Now, do I have lists of other things? Yes. But they are also not pressing. Some are more pressing than others. Notice the pressure, the pressing. Even right now on my Trello board, because that's what I use. That's a place where I keep all my lists. Literally, I had, book my flight for Boston. I can now cross it off. So it wasn't something that was on here, but it was up here, but I also had it written down somewhere. Yeah. So we have, well, here, I'll kind of, what's that word? I'll kind of fluff it up to about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have 10 minutes left of this YouTube Live. This is what I would say if this was the last 10 minutes of a chunk of time during a declutter party. Take a look around right now at what you're doing. Also, this is you keep one eye on what you're doing right now, but please put your other eye out to what's going on for you for the next hour or 2 or the rest of your day. If you are going to check in also right now, use this as a check-in, everybody, with how are you feeling physically? How are you feeling nervous system-y? If you're not feeling well, do something now. Take a break, drink some water, use this as a break. You can go back to what you were doing. Practice trusting that you will not lose your momentum if you go to take care of yourself. Do not run until your gas tank is dry, even though I kind of drove like that earlier this week. Check in with yourself and also say, what is my plan for top of the hour, as we would say in college radio? What am I going to do? What is my plan for 3 p.m. Eastern plus? Now, I know part of my plan is we've got a TikTok live this evening, 7 p.m. Eastern. So I have a chunk of time between now and then. I'm going to chunk down that time and I'm going to get some stuff done. So what if you cannot continue what you're doing now past 3 p.m. Eastern, start to tidy up what you're doing so you're leaving it in a better state than you found it. There we go. Kat Roby says, little papers I'm not ready to deal with are in a container now and not feeling overwhelming. Now, Kat Roby, you probably already know this, but I would also share this with you. That container, that can feel temporarily good, kind of like just make sure it doesn't turn into a doom container. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean that I don't trust that you can do it, but as a coach, I always want to make sure that you don't trip yourself up. There we go. And it's ready for the next work session after the staff meeting. Awesome. Hey, Sue. Caught the last few minutes decluttering her laundry room cabinet. I'll catch the replay or TikTok tonight. TikTok tonight. Yeah. Do what works for you. But always nice to see a friendly name. This is what I do every day. And it works. Chunk down your time. Use the chunks you have to fit the right puzzle piece into the right, area. And, a puzzle piece at a time, suddenly you're building the puzzle and the puzzle of your life. Think about that. Each piece you put in, you may not see the overall picture, but make sure each piece of that puzzle is something that you're making a beautiful picture of that puzzle of your life, and they all fit together. Yeah. Yeah, and isn't that interesting, Kat Roby? I love it when papers I thought were so important just didn't get airtime, and now they're going to be thrown away. So were they really that important? Notice where your brain may have some crossed wires of what truly is important and what isn't. Learn from what you're doing. Learn from what you're doing so you can do something different the next time. Iteration, experimentation. You've got your lab coat on and you're curious about what worked there. What worked during this last TikTok live? What was my goal for this TikTok live? Did I do what I said I was going to do? And I keep on calling it a TikTok live and it's YouTube. Whatever. I hoped to show up on time. I did that. I My plan was to show up for an hour for other people, to be of help to other people for an hour, to not focus on my stuff, but to focus on you. And I feel like that was accomplished. I hope what I did to help you helped you. What was your plan for this YouTube Live? Did you have a goal? Did you have a destination that at the end of this YouTube Live, you wanted to feel something? You wanted to think something? You wanted to have an action accomplished or started? There we go. Cat Roby, perfect. I love this. Piles are gone. Desk is clear. Brain is ready for a staff meeting and feeling relieved and energized. Notice, sometimes decluttering uses some of your energy, but it can also make you feel re-energized or energized for the first time. Good stuff. Now we have another chunk of time. We've got 5 minutes remaining of this YouTube Live. What's something? Yeah, right. Notice, considering I stared at it for the first 15 minutes, maybe you were just warming up your engine. Maybe you weren't staring at all, but your brain was making a plan that you didn't even know about. Trust that it was a good thing you did, because look where you got. Somehow that seemed to work. So maybe you experiment next time. I'll stare at it for 15 minutes until I know what to do. And then when I know what to do, I'll do it. Yay. So 5 minutes, you can get a lot of stuff done in 5 minutes. Have you ever tried to hold your breath for 5 minutes? 5 minutes could be a long time. Yay. Cat Roby says, destination reached, SBB, FTW, scheduled Beth Binders for the win. Thank you. You're welcome. See, and notice what happened. I showed up to be of service. I was of service. She was helped just by me being here, but she informed me of that. And now both of us are going to leave this YouTube Live feeling good. See how that works? Now, she didn't do anything for the first 15 minutes, but look at it. Maybe that was part of her preparation. She reached her destination, so something was going on. So I just say to you, yay, Cat Roby, I say to you, that's awesome. Thank you. You sharing that with me makes me feel like I got my destination accomplished for this hour. Anybody else, I hope you got your destination. And even if you didn't get there, that your car moved a little bit closer to it by doing some stuff. Yeah, road trips are better than with buddies. Yes, creating momentum. Yeah. And momentum goes on, but only when it doesn't encounter friction. Now I sound like a scientist. As you have momentum, you will encounter pebbles in the road that will slow you. You will also encounter things like being tired, being thirsty, having to go to the bathroom, realizing you have to go pick up a kid from school, or, oh, I have to get to the bank before it closes. Yeah. There we go. Carla Jane says, I got an entire side done. Won't take me as long as this side because I already have it ready. Awesome. This is one of the phrases I use in my real life, and I will share it with you. And I've probably said it tons of times. I'm going to plant a seed. Okay. This is a seed I'm going to plant. And if you want to water it, go right ahead. It can be your seed too. This is what I say. There is a chunk of hours and minutes between the end of this YouTube Live and the beginning of our TikTok Live this evening. That big swath can be cut into all sorts of different chunks. Some of those chunks in your life are probably already spoken for, but some of them may not be. So just think to yourself, what would I like to use my time and energy for, so that if I showed up for that 7 p.m. Eastern TikTok Live, I could tell Beth what I did and feel good about sharing it. So just think about that. That's a seed I want to plant with you. I'll give you the seed, and if you want to water it, put it in the ground, get your little watering can, and just say, okay, yeah, I'm going to play that game. I'm I'm going to water that plant. I'm going to see what grows. If I say, I have between 3 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Eastern, what do I already have committed to other people? But what can I do for me in that time? Listen to your heart, listen to your head, write down whatever comes up, write it down, and then match the things to the energy and time you have. Okay? Now, this is really interesting. Mary Lou says, I feel like I got more done in the last 15 minutes than I have in the last 15 days. Get curious why that was, Mary Lou. Between now and the next live, I plan to do as many loads of laundry as possible. Now, notice this. The time that it takes to do laundry is usually pre-fixed by the time that the cycle runs in your washer. So yay for keeping your washer busy, and yay for you getting stuff done. Get curious about why you didn't do things in the last 15 days, years. Get curious about it. Don't judge yourself. Get curious about what was it that was different about these last 15 minutes. And don't use me as all the credit. What did you do? How did you think? What were you feeling? Okay? And then while doing laundry, I plan to continue in the kitchen. Thank you for the motivation. I'll try to create my own. You did something today. Maybe you used some of my words. Maybe it was whatever. You created your own motivation. I can't give it to you, but you did something to create your motivation. What was it? Get curious about that so you know how to create it again. Now, I know what's going to motivate me to come back with a fuller tank of gas for the 7 p.m. TikTok. What's going to motivate me is to sign off now, to get some stuff down here done and rest. I'm going to check the weather. I'm going to go outside and get as much good weather as I can before it starts to rain. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do. I hope you do some good stuff with this time too. Okay? I hope this was helpful. That's why I show up. Oops. And I think I hit the wrong button right there. All right. I'll see you guys later. Bye.